1. Gaslighting. What it is. Gaslighting is deliberate distortion. Someone repeatedly questions your memory, your feelings, or your judgment until you start to. It rarely begins with drama. It begins with small edits. That's not what I said. You're remembering it wrong. You always exaggerate. Over time, those edits stack, and the story shifts away from what happened and toward what they need to be true. How it lands. You feel confused after simple conversations. You apologize just to stop the spiral. You start checking their face to decide what reality is. You begin asking for permission to feel what you feel. Common lines. You're too sensitive. That never happened. Everyone else agrees with me. You're imagining things. You're overreacting again. Why it works. Consistency beats truth when you're tired. If someone confidently repeats the same narrative, your brain gravitates toward the easiest explanation. Maybe I am the problem. That's the trap. Counter moves. Externalize memory. Keep a date stamp note, voice memo, or message log. Facts don't need to shout. They need to exist. Name the behavior. When you say that never happened after I describe my experience, that's gaslighting. Stop debating your feelings. Feelings aren't a court case. I felt hurt. Full stop. Use third spaces. Bring big topics to therapy, mediation, or a neutral setting if safe to do so. Exit the loop. If the conversation keeps circling, end it. We're repeating. Let's pause. Boundaries disrupt manipulation more than arguments do. 2. Love bombing. Intensity masquerading as intimacy. Love bombing is the fast-forward button on connection. It's a flood of attention, constant texts, grand declarations, fast commitment, forever, by week 2. It feels like destiny. It functions like a hook. How it lands. You feel chosen, adored, and slightly overwhelmed. Your schedule, friendships, and routine shrink to make room for the rush. The intensity feels like proof. No one has ever felt this way about me. The turn. After the high, the energy dips. Messages slow. Affection cools. You start asking, what did I do? You chase the earlier version of them, the one that said exactly what you needed to hear. That version was the pitch, not the person. Red flags disguised as romance. We don't need time, we know. Pressure to define exclusivity instantly. Oversharing future fantasies instead of steady present effort. Over compliments that erase individuality. You're perfect. You're my everything. Counter moves. Observe the slope, not the spark. Good love is consistent, not cinematic. Create time gates. No big decisions, moving in, merging money, meeting kids. On a dopamine high. Ask anchoring questions. What do you like on a bad day? How do you repair after conflict? Watch the ratio. Words to actions. Promises to patterns. If words are 10x actions, pause. Keep your life intact. If a bond requires you to shrink, it's a performance, not a partnership. 3. Guilt tripping. Making no feel like a moral failure. What it is. Guilt tripping weaponizes your empathy. It's not do this. It's after everything I've done for you. It doesn't confront your choice. It questions your character. How it lands. You feel responsible for someone else's disappointment. You apologize for existing with needs. You undermine your own boundary to keep the peace. Classic delivery styles. The sigh. Silent disapproval you're supposed to interpret. The ledger. I helped you last month. You owe me. The martyr. It's fine. I'll just do it myself. Why it works. Most caring people would rather suffer than be seen as selfish. Manipulation exploits that reflex. Counter moves. Separate values from volume. Ask, did I actually do wrong, or do I feel wrong because someone is upset? Decline without defense. I'm not available for that. Periods protect boundaries better than essays. Return the responsibility. I hear you're disappointed. My answer is still no. Spot the pattern. If help is always a debt, redefine the relationship or your access to it. 4. Triangulation. Turning a conversation into a crowd. What it is. Triangulation recruits a third person to pressure you. Sarah agrees with me. Everyone thinks you overreacted. It's not about resolution, it's about leverage. How it lands. You feel outnumbered by voices that aren't in the room. You start defending yourself to people you never spoke to. The focus shifts from the issue to your reputation. Where it shows up. Families. A parent complains about one sibling to another. Work. A colleague CCs your manager to loop them in on a non-issue. Dating. Bringing an ex, a friend, or even a therapist's name into a fight as validation. Counter moves. Break the shape. If you have a concern with me, please discuss it with me, not about me with others. Insist on direct channels. Let's meet together if a third person is needed. Don't defend to ghosts. You owe explanations to the people in the room, not to everyone. Exit when needed. If they refuse directness, you can refuse the discussion. 5. The White Knight. Creating the crisis to claim the rescue. What it is. White knighting looks like care. Advice you didn't ask for, solutions you didn't need, protection you didn't request. In toxic form, the knight creates or amplifies the problem, and then rides in to fix it. How it lands. You feel strangely smaller around their help. You lose confidence in handling your own life. When you set boundaries, they act wounded or disappear. The hidden loop. Sow doubt or chaos quietly. Arrive with comfort and solutions. Gain trust and dependence. Repeat whenever you grow. Counter moves. Ask for receipts. What are you responding to? What did I ask you to do? Clarify your ask. Thanks, I'm venting, not seeking a fix. Measure help by outcomes. Real support leaves you stronger. If you're weaker, it wasn't help, it was tether. Reclaim problem solving. I'll handle this one. If I need help, I'll ask. 6. The silent treatment. Using absence as a weapon. What it is. Silence is healthy when it's mutual space. Silent treatment is strategic withdrawal used to punish. It's not cooling down, it's coercion. How it lands. You obsess over what you did wrong. You chase, explain, and over-apologize to end the stress. You start believing connection is something you must earn. Hidden message. I control when this feels safe. I decide when you are seen. If you want me, you will perform. Counter moves. Name it. If you're upset, I'm open to talking. I won't accept being punished with silence. Set terms. If we need a break, let's agree on a time to reconnect. Stop chasing. Refuse to barter your dignity for contact. Escalate to clarity. If communication requires me to agree with everything, this won't work. 7. Breadcrumbing. The art of almost. What it is. Breadcrumbing is intermittent reinforcement, just enough attention to keep you invested. Never enough to build anything real. A hey text. A fire emoji. A promise of plans that never quite land. How it lands. You live in a loop of maybe. You feel silly for hoping, but you hope anyway. Your self-worth starts measuring itself by pings. Why it works. The brain gets hooked on unpredictable rewards. Casinos run on this. So do some people. Counter moves. Choose data, not dopamine. Track the last 5 promises versus completions. Believe the ratio. Set a minimum. I'm available for plans, not vague someday talk. Stop decoding crumbs. If consistency is missing, compatibility is too. Step out clean. You don't need a villain to choose a standard. 8. D.A.R.V.O. The script flip, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. What it is. D.A.R.V.O. is the manipulation final form. You name harm calmly. They deny it happened. Attack your tone, timing, or character. Reverse the roles so they become the victim and you the offender. Example flow. You. When you mocked me in front of your friends, I felt humiliated. Bam, that never happened. You're so dramatic. And now you're attacking me. Why do you always ruin good nights? How it lands. You end up defending your delivery, not your truth. You leave the conversation feeling cruel for asking for respect. The original harm never gets addressed. Counter moves. Stay on the rails. I'm discussing X. If you'd like to address my tone, we can do that after we address X. Refuse the reversal. Your feelings matter, and the behavior I named still happened. Invite structure. Let's each speak for 2 minutes without interruption. Then we switch. Know your exits. If the flip continues and the scene, we're off topic and I'm done for now. How to spot the pattern early. 1. Speed versus substance. If the beginning is all fireworks with no foundation, expect smoke. 2. Words versus repetition. Apologies and declarations are easy. Change behavior is data. 3. Confusion index. Healthy dynamics clarify. Unhealthy ones blur. If you're constantly foggy, that's information. 4. Boundary reaction test. Your no doesn't create enemies in safe relationships. It reveals control in unsafe ones. 5. Isolation drift. If you're subtly pulled away from friends, routines, or opinions, consider the why. 6. Emotional debt. When care becomes currency, the bill never stops. Love does. Transactions don't. Safety notes, because this is real. If pushback escalates to threats or monitoring, loop in trusted people and create a safety plan. Document patterns, screenshots, dates, descriptions. Memory is a terrible witness when you're stressed. Professional support isn't a luxury, it's leverage. Therapy, legal advice, HR. Use the systems available. You don't need proof of harm to leave a harmful system. I don't like who I am here is enough. Recalibrating your compass after the fog. When you've been twisted by these tactics, even healthy behavior can feel wrong at first. Expect the wobble. Saying no will feel mean. Say it anyway. Asking for clarity will feel demanding. Ask anyway. Taking time to think will feel like rejection, especially to those who fed on your urgency. Take it anyway. Keeping records will feel paranoid. It's not paranoia, it's pattern protection. Leaving might feel like failure. It's not. It's literacy turning into action. Rebuilding your trust in yourself takes practice. Start small. Keep a daily reality ledger. 3 things you felt, 3 things that happened, 1 boundary you held. Do 1 unglamorous act of self-respect each day. Reply later. Turn your phone off at night. Decline a plan you don't want. Reseed your world with steady people. Consistent friends are anti-manipulation medicine. Micro-Diagnostics You Can Run in the moment. The 2 questions test. If I agreed right now, who benefits most? If I pause right now, who gets angry? Anger at your pause is a data point. The sunlight test. Would I feel comfortable screenshotting this conversation to a trusted friend or therapist? The reverse it test. If I treated them this way, would they tolerate it? Hypocrisy reveals hierarchy. The pattern over punchline rule. Don't judge by the nicest thing they've done. Judge by the thing they do most. If you're watching this and recognizing yourself, maybe you've gaslit someone because you were ashamed. Maybe you guilt-tripped because you were scared they'd leave. Maybe you went silent because you didn't know how to handle conflict. Accountability isn't self-hate, it's self-update. The repair path is simple, not easy. Name it. I denied your experience. That's gaslighting. Own the impact. That made you doubt yourself. I'm sorry. Invite agency. How can I support repair? I'll respect your boundary. Change the pattern. Get skills, conflict resolution, therapy, emotional regulation. You can be safe for the people you love. The opposite of control is clarity. Manipulation thrives in fog. Fast talk, vague apologies, borrowed opinions. Maybe I'm crazy. The answer isn't louder feelings, it's clearer lines. Your memory is valid even if it's not perfect. Your pace matters even if a story promises magic tomorrow. Your dignity doesn't need their agreement. You don't need to win every argument. You need to stop playing a rig game. Step back. Name the move. Choose the boundary. The right people won't punish you for protecting your peace. They'll help you keep it. If this helped, breathe. Save it. Share it with a friend who keeps saying, I don't know why I feel crazy. Quick reference, on-screen recap. Gaslighting. My memory versus their edits. Document, name, exit loops. Love bombing. Intensity without intimacy. Slow pace, watch patterns. Guilt tripping, morality as leverage. Hold boundary without essays. Triangulation, third-party pressure. Direct conversations only. White knighting, crisis rescue control. Ask for help you want, decline the rest. Silent treatment, absence as punishment. Name it, set terms, stop chasing. Breadcrumbing, intermittent attention. Choose consistency over chemistry. D.A.R.V.O, deny attack reverse. Stay on topic, refuse the flip, leave if needed. You're allowed to live where conversations are honest, love is patient, and boundaries are normal.